So again, hi everyone, and welcome to this financial dive into one of the biggest company in the bakery industry in Colombia. This is Bimbo. Today we're going to look at how the company has performed over the last 5 years from 2019 to 2023 and see what the numbers tell us about where they have been and where they might be going in this financial journey. So let's start with a high-level overview of Bimbo's financials. When we look at their total operating revenue, we see a consistent growth trend over the years. You can appreciate it here in the Excel that in 2019, Bimbo reported revenues of more than 692 million pesos, which grew to more than 1,200 million by 2023. That's nearly double, which is pretty impressive. Here we're going to look at the horizontal analysis. These analyses help us to see how the financials have changed over year. For example, you can appreciate that Bimbo's gross profit has steadily increased, but the rate of growth has varied. From 2019 to 2020, we can see that a growth of around 12%. But from 2021 to 2022, the growth slowed down to about 6%. You can appreciate it in the Excel table. One of the key reasons for this could be the rising cost of goods sold, which has been increasing each year. When we turn our attention to the vertical analysis, things get interesting. This analysis shows us the percentage of revenue is being spent on key items like the cost of goods sold, selling expenses, and the administrative expenses. For instance, in 2023, about 58% of Bimbo revenue went to covering the cost of goods sold, which is slightly higher than in previous years. This tells us that while Bimbo is growing, it's also becoming more expensive to produce its goods. So, how profitable has Bimbo been? Okay, we are going to look at the profitability ratios here in the Excel table. The net profit margin fluctuated over the years, with 2023 showing a slight loss of -3%. The return on equity, which measures how efficiently it's generating profit from its equity, was at -9% in 2023. This negative figure is a red flag because that indicates that Bimbo is struggling to generate profit from its equity base, especially in the recent years. So moving on to liquidity, the current ratio, which measures the company abilities to pay off its short-term liabilities with its short-term assets, has been declining. In 2023, we can appreciate that the current ratio was 0.6, which is below the ideal of 1. And that happens every year. You can appreciate it in the table. This suggests that Bimbo might face challenges covering its short-term obligations if this trend continues. Next up, the leverage. It's interesting. Bimbo's debt has been relatively stable, hovering around 49% in 2023, down from a peak of 130% in 2022. This reduction is positive, but with an equity ratio of 96% in 2023, it's clear that Bimbo is heavily reliant on its equity financing. This could be a strategic move to reduce the financial risk, especially with this new government, and especially after the high leverage observed in 2022 after the pandemic. Now let's go into diving into the efficiency. Bimbo's inventory turnover, which measures how quickly a company sells and replaces its inventory, has been in a negative territory, which is unusual. This could indicate inefficiencies in the old inventory management, possibly due to overstocking or issues moving their products quickly, especially in Colombia with a very difficult geography where all the all the buses and cargo cars uh, struggle moving from a city to another due to lack of roads and everything. It's difficult. So, in the other hand, the asset turnover ratio, which tells us how efficiently the company is issuing its assets to generate revenue, has remained fairly stable around 1.4 times in 2023. This means for every peso of assets, Bimbo generates 1.4 pesos in revenue, which is decent, but obviously has room for improvement. So, how does Bimbo stack up against its competitors? Well, compared to other major players in the bakery sector like Grupo Nutresa, Bimbo is doing well in terms of revenue growth. However, in terms of profitability, Bimbo lags behind. Nutresa, for example, has maintained a steady profit margin thanks to more effective cost management strategies. But obviously, Grupo Nutresa is bigger, so the cost management is it's easier just to this simple fact. This suggests that while Bimbo is growing, it needs to tighten up its cost control to keep up with the competition. So to wrap things up, what's the big takeaway? Bimbo is growing. It's a growing company with a solid revenue base, but it's facing some challenges in profitability, efficiency, and cost management. As I told you before, the company could benefit from a closer look at its cost structures, and inventory management processes. In the long term, improving these areas could help Bimbo not only grow but also become more profitable and competitive in the bakery sector. Uh, Thank you for listening to me. It was a pleasure to deep with you in this financial journey. Thanks. Let's take smart financial decisions.